video podcasting. It is the most efficient medium for making your authentic self vividly available to your high-ticket client. The moment when your clients open their wallet, their mind won't recall a generic keyword. Their mind will recall a vivid human memory of you.
Creating, reorganize, creating, reorganize, creating, reorganize, creating, reorganize. If you are a founder of your small business and have no time to waste or really struggle to do your social media marketing, you will enjoy our Creating Reorganized show. In my day job as a psychology professor, I teach my bachelor and master students in real life how to reorganize processes in a goal-directed and future-proof way in companies. And that's what I have done for a living as a former IT strategy consultant. For my own career coaching business on the side, I can only dedicate a fraction of my time because, I prioritize care work for my little children. I face the same or similar challenges like all small business owners. So I applied all my experience and knowledge to create my other video podcast, Postdoc Transformation Show, to streamline my social media marketing and to boost sales of my coaching, e-courses, and affiliate products or services. I strategically capitalize on professional tools to scale my impact according to my vision of life. Listen and subscribe to this Creating Reorganized show so you will learn to do the same for your own business, to build the know, like, and trust factor, and to boost sales of your services or products. Please also ask your business-specific questions because for the next seasons, I envision interview episodes with aspiring and new founders like you, if you want to get your Creating Reorganized according to your vision of life. As in every episode, at the end, I will wrap everything up from a psychological method, theory, or concept point of view. So stay tuned until the end of this episode, especially if you are my bachelor and master student in real life. I would love for you to take notes and maybe even already recognize my arguments.
Dear Creating Reorganizer, welcome back to the Creating Reorganized show, the show that helps you, the business owner, use a strategic video podcast to market and sell your unique services 24/7, 365 without burnout. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Soei-Winkels, and I'm here to reorganize your thinking about marketing. This isn't theory for theory's sake, okay? So this is your battle plan for making your business the client's automatic choice. If you're worried that your time and money spent on marketing is getting lost in the noise, this episode, How to Make Your Video Podcast the Obvious Choice Over AI, or also called the Trust Shortcut Leveraging Psychological Heuristics, is your roadmap into premium sales. So let's get a little bit scientific about how to sell with your unique human voice. Okay, so maybe you fear invisibility in the AI fog, and I totally understand that. You are a service-based or premium product-based entrepreneur, and your ideal client is looking for proven expertise, not a commodity. They are paying a premium because they need results and trust. Yet, the entire internet is now being saturated by content that is technically fluent but ethically hollow. AI is the factory of the generic average, right? So the danger here isn't that AI will be better than you. The danger is that AI will make you look like one of the other 10,000 generic options, right? So Kahneman formalized what happens next. He said the human brain of your client uses two systems for decision-making. System number one is fast thinking. This is the emotional, intuitive decision maker and relies on heuristics, mental shortcuts, to make snap judgments. It's automatic, emotional, and responsible for the majority of everyday choices, especially who to trust. And system number two is slow thinking. This is the accountant in your client's brain. It's deliberate, rational, logical, and it engages, especially when the problem is complex. It involves comparing spreadsheets, reading lengthy white papers, and negotiating prices. Crucially, system number 2 is effortful and, well, the brain hates effort. So here's the problem. The generic AI content forces your client into system 2 thinking. When they have to spend weeks sifting through sameness, their brain experiences cognitive friction and decision paralysis. They delay the purchase because they don't know which one to choose, or they default to the lowest price. Yeah, we live in a cost-sensitive economy. And this is where you, the high-value provider, can lose. So your video podcast must activate your client system number 1 so that the choice of hiring you or buying with you is intuitive, fast, and emotionally certain. You must become the cognitive shortcut to their solution. That's why I put so much strategic effort in creating my social clips as a branded, fun, and engaging billboard and teaser for encouraging viewers on social media to listen to my in-depth podcast episodes. And how can we now think of activating system 1? We want to activate system 1 with the availability heuristic by Kahneman and Tversky. Okay, so the first weapon in our psychological arsenal is the availability heuristic. And that heuristic states that we judge the frequency, likelihood, and importance of something based on how quickly and vividly examples come to mind. And that is why I post daily, or multiple times even, on social media platforms. If you've seen dramatic news about military drones, for example, you'll overestimate the risk of being attacked. The brain defaults to the information that is most readily available. So, how can this be applied to video podcasting? Your video podcast must be the most available solution in your client's mind when they face their core business solution. So, text, graphics, and static images are low-impact stimuli. That's boring, but a video of your face, your voice, and your specific energetic point of view is high impact. And it is a dense, emotionally rich piece of data that the brain stores efficiently. That is why I have so many moving parts in my social clips. You can see the logo moving up from here to here. You can see the podcast covers that move here or here. You can see my image and also my closed captions. Everything moves 2 to 3 seconds. And when that pivotal moment arrives, the moment when your clients open their wallet, their mind won't recall a generic keyword. Their mind will recall a vivid human memory of you. That is why I chose my social clip style to be very different to what you usually see on social media. You also hear me singing my own jingles. It's uniquely me and corresponds to my IT strategy and psychologically driven way of thinking in an authentic way. And that really reminds me on my own career leap. Okay, so when I jumped from neuroscience and academia into IT strategy at Aldi South, my survival strategy was initially conformity. Okay, dark suits, corporate lingo, blending in. And to be honest, visually, I was very easy to categorize. I wanted acceptance, and I achieved it by minimizing my distinct features. But that level of professional availability was only useful within a controlled existing system. That was at Aldi South, for example, in that career level. Well, it was system 2 marketing. I was just one IT analyst among others. As I progressed into consulting and also then started my own business, I realized that the cost of blending in was invisibility in the market. And my expertise, compound skills from a PhD in neuroscience, an IT analyst role, and a professorship in psychology was being obscured by a generic corporate uniform. So I was actually losing my availability advantage. So my strategic shift was then to embrace my exotic outlier status. I was called an exotic outlier, so why not being proud about that? Okay, so the Chinese Indonesian immigrant, the psychologist, the mother, the IT strategist, this whole delivered through a video podcast is vivid, memorable, and unique. It is data that the brain can recall instantly. That is why we do video podcasting. It is the most efficient medium for making your authentic self vividly available to your high-ticket client. So let's go to the next chapter, shall we? That is engineering the prototype of trust. Okay, so we already talked about the availability heuristic. Being available is step one. But what memory is the client recalling? And that leads us to the representativeness heuristic. So this is a critical shortcut. We assess probability by showing how similar an object or person is to a pre-existing mental prototype or stereotype. If a person looks like a prototype of a successful entrepreneur, we instinctively rate their success probability higher, often ignoring base rate statistical data. So here's the problem for entrepreneurs. If you are an innovative, modern business, the client might be holding an outdated prototype in their mind. So you need to actively replace that old stereotype with your unique, compelling prototype of expertise. Like, who do you picture as a professor? White, male, old? Well, maybe I'm old, but I'm not white and not male, right? So your video podcast is your platform to continuously flash this new, trustworthy prototype. It's not about being perfect. It's about representing the solution to the client's problem with unmistakable clarity. So let's do a 3-step prototype audit. You need to audit your own brand representation to ensure you are creating the right prototype. Step 1, the anti-AI audit. Look at your top 3 competitors. What are they saying and doing that sounds generic or AI-ish? Your prototype must do the exact opposite. If they're all stiff and normal, your prototype must be energetic and conversational. If they use stock imagery, your prototype must use custom, human-centric visuals. Your difference must make a difference. Step number 2, the compounding skills. Look at your prototype. List the 3 most contrasting skills you possess. For me, it's I'm a psychologist, so I understand behavior. I'm an IT strategist, so I can create efficient systems. And I'm a professor, so I can do teaching. This blend is my prototype for a strategist who knows how humans work. So what is yours? Your video podcast should dedicate entire episodes like we do here on Creating Reorganize and also on my Post-doc Transformation show to showcasing how these skills combine. You are building the evidence for the representativeness heuristic. You are the only one who looks like that solution. Step number 3, the mompreneur filter. Honestly, this is the most personal and most powerful step. What non-traditional trait are you hesitant to share but actually attracts your ideal client while repelling non-ideal clients? To be honest, it took me 5 years to confidently mention my child on social media. I'm not showing my child around. I'm just saying proudly, I am a mom. Why? I have to say, I was afraid of judgment, afraid of not fitting the corporate prototype of a serious leader. To embrace mompreneur was the key. And I added mompreneur on my LinkedIn profile also because my former team member and alumni student, Priscilla Schulze, suggested that. This personal detail became the representativeness heuristic for my ideal client. The high-achieving, time-constrained professional who values strategic efficiency and work-life balance. And my personal life became a trust shortcut. If I can successfully manage a professorship, 2 podcasts, and my family, I must be the ultimate expert in reorganizing for success. And this deliberate, authentic prototype is what makes the difference. It bypasses the system 2 logic and hits the system 1 gut feeling. So the verdict is, I trust Eleanor. She gets my struggle. All right, let's go to the next heuristic. So hand in hand with representativeness is the recognition heuristic by Gigerenzer and Goldstein. So this is simple. If one of 2 options is recognized and the other one is not, infer that the recognized object has the higher value, okay? So your strategic video podcast is this engine for recognition. And you must ensure consistent visuals, consistent quality, and consistent distribution. This is where your IT strategy tools come in. You cannot rely on manual processes for consistency. You need automation as your system 2 executor so you can focus on your system 1 creativity. So here's the tool that I use for cross-platform recognition. I use Metricool because it allows me to efficiently maintain a consistent brand image and messaging across high-impact platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest. So my face, my brand colors, and strategic takeaways are synchronized. This constant high-quality exposure activates the recognition heuristic so that when a client finally needs to choose, your business name is the one that is instantly recognized and therefore deemed more valuable. You are the recognized expert. You are the premium choice. I also use ActiveCampaign for funnel consistency. So when a client downloads a lead magnet or fills out a form, ActiveCampaign steps in to ensure the follow-up communication is consistent with the authority and tone established in the video podcast. This consistency reinforces the prototype and moves them further down the funnel without you having to manually chase every lead, right? So this is an essential step in transitioning from a recognized face and brand to a trusted financial commitment. This entire foundation is built on making the process of choosing you effortless for the client. The harder they have to think, system 2, the less likely they are to buy your premium service. Now let's go to the next section, that is the strategic implementation. We have just strategized, okay? So we have to build the psychological foundation. We must be available and representative to activate the client's fast emotional system 1. The final, most powerful driver of human decision-making, especially for high-ticket purchases, is loss aversion. So we want to sell by preventing pain, okay? So let's talk about Kahneman and Tversky's prospect theory, and that tells us the psychological impact of a loss, which is approximately twice as powerful as the impact of an equivalent gain. We can think of the time spent on inefficient manual production, loss of authority, invisibility in the age of AI, loss of scalability, like in my case, that is an income ceiling, being stuck trading hours for money. And this is where your strategic tech stack becomes your loss prevention system. I chose my affiliate partners because they are the most efficient and powerful anti-burnout tools for a premium-focused small business owner. Each one of them is designed to counteract a specific entrepreneurial loss, okay? So, for example, with Podbean, I avoid the loss of reach and professional authority. So, using a non-dedicated hosting solution, just like uploading to YouTube, which sacrifices professional polish, limits automated distribution, and loses the massive authority that comes from being on all major podcast directories. This is a loss of authority in market research, even though it's a growing platform. But everybody can be on YouTube, but not everybody can be on Spotify and YouTube and Podbean and all the other major podcast players, right? So my solution is using Podbean. It's a reliable enterprise-grade host, and it's non-negotiable for a premium business. Podbean ensures my video podcast content is distributed to every major audio and video platform effortlessly. It removes the risk of technical failure or platform-specific limitations. The Podbean business plan is key because it includes unmetered video and audio storage, okay? It means you never have to worry about the cost of consistency, which is a huge psychological relief, right? I can have a dedicated branded website, even if I already have one. It's really beautiful. This ensures that even if you don't have a custom domain, you can have an immediate professional home base that reinforces your prototype being professional, right? So then you can also have the advanced analytics, and that is the avoid of loss of strategic insight, right? knowing exactly where your premium clients are engaging, to which topics they resonate with, allows you to focus your precious time on the channels that actually derive results. So for me, Podbean transforms a stressful technical risk into a reliable, consistent availability machine. Okay. I have another tool that I swear by, which is Descript. And that, for me, is the tool how I can avoid the loss of time, which is also my personal pod fade killer. Okay? So I don't know whether you have already experienced this, but it's so crushing to lose time and energy spent on manual video editing. That is quite mechanical. And this is the main cause of pod fade and ultimately the entrepreneurial burnout. I mean, you don't want to be a podcaster, right? You want to use your video podcast to market your business and sell your services. You don't want to become an audio and video editor, right? For me, this is the loss of my own family time. Okay, so I use Descript, and I cannot stress enough how Descript with its text-based editing is the ultimate weapon against this loss. I literally edit my videos by deleting words from a transcript. It's like having an AI assistant that understands human language, not just code. Okay? So for me, I don't know whether you remember, but in my other video podcast, the Postdoc Transformation Show, at episode 22, I was almost hitting pod fade. And this manual editing, the closet recording, it was a massive time sink. And the switch to remote interviews via Squadcast, which was then acquired by Descript, and then the discovery of Descript's text-based editing was my crucial IT strategic decision. It was a move to avoid the loss of the entire business due to burnout, and features like studio sound and the automatic removal of filler words are loss prevention mechanisms that guarantee professional quality without any System 2 effort from you. They ensure you maintain the representativeness prototype even when you're exhausted. Okay, so why are we doing this all here? To attract new leads, right? So it's lead generation. ActiveCampaign and Typeform go hand in hand and help me to avoid the loss of qualified lead focus. Spending precious time chasing low-value leads or having leads drop out of your funnel due to generic, irrelevant follow-up, this is a loss of return on investment on your strategic effort, right? And by the way, if return on investment doesn't ring a bell, we already talked about it, and if you want to reflect on that again, you can find it as linked in the show notes. So my solution is ActiveCampaign and Typeform. While Typeform creates engaging, beautiful, non-intimidating data capture forms like quizzes or applications, ActiveCampaign then uses that data to automatically segment, that is important, with the help of AI, personalize and nurture the lead. So this combination allows you to implement a behavioral economics concept called framing effect. That is, presenting information in a way that guides the client's decision, right? So your Typeform quiz can frame the problem like, are you struggling with X, Y, or Z, the pain points? And then ActiveCampaign can frame your solutions as the only way to avoid the loss of X through your strategic service. So you avoid the loss of a generic email list and gain a hyper-segmented, responsive audience. And this is the strategic funnel that supports your high-ticket premium service, ensuring every minute that your video podcast creation is maximally leveraged. All right. And then the inevitable loss of momentum caused by the manual platform scheduling and posting of your promotional content. This breaks the recognition heuristic and allows your prototype to fade from memory, and you don't want that. So Metrical is a single powerful dashboard for scheduling, monitoring, and analyzing your performances across all visual and professional platforms, which is, in my case, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. Here's how Metrical can help you. It ensures that video podcasts, social clips, audiograms, or quote cards are consistently presented with your authentic branding across every digital habitat where your client. So this consistent visual presence is how you maintain the representativeness heuristic, always looking like the high-quality professional choice, and keep your brand highly available without the manual, constant time loss. As we conclude our deep dive into the psychology of trust, we come to the final emotional heuristic that influences your client's memory. That is the peak and rule. Kahneman found that people don't remember the average of an experience. They remember the most intense moments, the peak, and how it concluded. Your video podcast production must be organized to deliver this. The peak could be the core aha strategic insight you deliver in the middle of the episode, or a moment of powerful vulnerability that creates an intense feeling of human connection and trust. And then the end, the final, clear, and positive call to action that leaves them feeling confident, informed, and ready to act. So this means you can have a technically imperfect episode that sounds not optimal, but if the core strategic advice is brilliant, the peak, and the final message is clear, the end, the overall experience will be stored in their memory as a massive net positive. All right, so now let's frame your video podcast not as a marketing task, but as a crucial business strategy move, okay? So we're using Michael Porter's 5 forces, the benchmark model for understanding market competition. So you are a scaling business owner. Your video podcast directly defends against aggressive forces. First is threat of new entrants. That is the barrier to entry. A new competitor cannot replicate your video podcast's authentic human authority and vivid availability overnight. This personalized trust takes time and consistency, creating a durable, high-effort barrier for them to cross. Your investment in a strategic video podcast isn't a cost. It's an investment in strategic defense. So I remember in my IT strategy consulting career, I faced intense rivalry from massive firms, looking at my firm versus the others, and also numerous talented colleagues within Accenture. And my survival or career value came down to one thing: strategic differentiation that created a market barrier, internally but also externally. My colleagues typically had either a pure IT or business background or a soft skills background. I was uniquely positioned because I could draw on both of my psychological expertise and my IT and business strategy skills. Additionally, my fluency in English gave me a superior edge over many German-only speaking peers and supervisors. And that was my unique, unassailable compounding advantage. My competitors could replicate my IT skills, sure, but they could not replicate easily my unique blend of a PhD in neuroscience, IT strategy experience, and also multilingual and multicultural capability. I established a barrier to entry that was simply too high for many of them to climb. So, over to you again. Your video podcast combined with a strategic tech stack is your unique barrier. It's the visual, audible proof of your compounding skills that your rivals cannot copy. So, taken together, when you use your unique human voice to become the trusted prototype that is instantly available in your client's mind, you achieve true success, higher sales through authority, better return on investment from hyper efficiency, and more time for the things that truly matter according to your vision of life. And this is the goal of Creating Reorganized. It's strategy over struggle. It's human connection over AI noise. So, if you are an established small business owner already succeeding but lack the bandwidth to implement this complex psychological and IT strategic system, the Descript workflow, the Podbean authority, the active campaign funnel, you have the loss of momentum and the loss of the next level of income. This is why we have created this Creating Reorganized podcasting service. We are offering a premium white label done-for-you service that handles the entire system to strategic setup and production. We build the exact system we discussed today, tailored to your unique brand. We ensure that your authentic human voice, your unique prototype, is engineered for maximum availability and representativeness, all to prevent the devastating loss of time and sales that comes from trying to do it all yourself. This is the ultimate IT strategic decision for the business owner ready to scale. Don't let the fear of complexity or the threat of AI invisibility cause you to lose your edge. Now, go to the show notes to sign up for the waitlist for the Creating Reorganized podcasting service. That is your ultimate way to avoid the loss of your precious time and to guarantee your path to premium sales. Until next time, happy creating reorganized according to your vision of life.
Do you want to start your own side business as a runway for your better future? Then you will benefit from our free business readiness quiz as linked in the show notes. Are you a small business owner and want to create sustainable marketing and sales content? Try video podcasting about your service or product, like I do in my postdoc transformation show. I'm a mom of 2 kids in school and a professor, and I have no time to lose running my business. And if you also want to save time and energy, use our Dovetail Evergreen strategy. You can easily derive countless valuable social media content from just one video podcast episode. You can quickly attract a broad audience across many social media platforms and then nurture them into leads and clients in their ears and emails while you live according to your vision of life. Let me teach you Creating Reorganized. If you're ready to dive in and start your own podcasting journey, I highly recommend checking out the tools I mentioned earlier: Podbean, Descript, Typeform, ActiveCampaign, Thinkific, and Metricool. Each of these services has made my podcasting business experience smoother and more efficient, and I trust that they can help you too. Thank you for listening to our Creating Reorganized show. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe, share it with your business friends, and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Your feedback helps me as a small business owner to serve more small business owners for free, so thank you. I'm your host, Professor Dr. Soei-Winkels, and now I wish you a happy Creating Reorganized according to your vision of life.